Ankit's success journey is my happiness, I would have to say. Like so many challenges, so many things that happen in that success journey, and he lives near to me. So that's a double thing. Probably we'll be meeting in this week or next, inshallah. So Ankit, let's talk about your success journey. Share it in your way, what you did, and then we'll add it from there on.
Surely, I don't know how much time I have, Amir bhai, but I have lot of tips and tricks, what worked for me, and any of the best practices that any students can take here. But before I start, I just want to start with thanking you and Trimsy. I'm 100% sure this would not have been possible without you both. And it was a mix of the framework and the system that you have created, number one, and second is the follow up that the entire team does. And I think what's more important is having a very strong mindset, and you guys coaching and mentoring throughout, right? It's a mixed combination of everything. So firstly, credit goes to you, sir, and to Trimsy as well. And in terms of my success journey, I just want to share with the entire team that it took me literally 2 months, during which I fell ill. I'm a working professional in the US. So, those who are out in Asia and other parts of the world, you would know that it's very difficult. You don't have house helps. You have to look after your kid. You have to do your office work. You have to even cook, right? In the midst of all of that, I fell ill for 2 weeks, and it was the worst sickness of my life ever. After I finished the 1 month, the 2 weeks coaching class with Amesa, and then from there on, what really helped me was booking the exam. I think that's very critical,
Mm.
right? Firstly, whatever, and I think what's more important is during this whole journey, and I'm going to be extremely frank, there were a lot of students reaching out to me, and even I felt at one point of time, will I ever pass? Will I, what Amir and Trimsy are trying to do with me? Does this even make sense? Will I reach to my last goal? Please, I think one request, you spend in so much of money, you're spending in so much of valuable time with one of the renowned coaches like Amir. Have trust in the system, and his framework is brilliant, right? I was studying simultaneously, which I did not tell him, but I was simultaneously studying my books as well. The books are of no use, right? If you go through his system and his framework and continuously be focused with your mocks, your RCAs, your mind maps, and be motivated. I mean, we all are going through that journey. As a person, I have, and Amir sir has also even coached me on this. I have a lot of anxiety attacks, right? When I do mocks, I was getting below 60. I was getting mid 60s, right? And I was like, all the other students were getting more than 80s. I was like, what's wrong with me? And then if there's any noise while I'm giving mock, I used to be very unfocused, and I used to lose that entire focus. But I think muscle building is very important. Take these mocks extremely seriously with full dedication, with full focus. Don't break the mocks. I had a few students reach out to me, Amir bhai, who were asking me, can we do 180 mocks in a span of three different hours, not in one stretch? I said, please don't do that, right? Because you're muscle building. So I think my success journey credit goes to obviously Amir sir and Trimzi sir, but to all the other students who have joined, I just want to share what has really worked for me. One is, and I don't know at which part of the journey all of y'all are as a part of the class, but firstly, if most of us are working, and what was the most confusing for me was the way we work in our respective industries and offices, we think like that, and we start answering the PM questions according to that. I would suggest use the PMI hat. That's extremely critical. Number one, using your PMI hat is extremely critical. Don't think of it, okay, how would I have done it in office, or how would I have done in my work? That's extremely critical. Second is, whenever you all are planning your exam, have an exam date booked so that you will stay focused, and avoid taking it from home. Don't ever take it from home, right?
Yeah,
I think the center really helps.
I actually like his date because when you have a book's date, like I'm 100% sure, 1 week back when Ankit was sick, Ankit was having extremely bad score. If his exam was not booked, I would not have made a customized roadmap the way I did. Right, Ankit?
Yeah.
That like because with the deadline he has, and there were multiple discussions going with him and Trimji, going back and forth about rescheduling, and both of them were seriously rescheduling it. I have a problem. I'm an extremely dedicated person. I don't like to reschedule. When I set a date, I have to do it. Like from last 5 years, I have never changed my batch date. I did, like remember, there was a time I had two students in a batch. I did the batch. Even the like students said, sir, you can reschedule it for next week. And I said, no, 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 no. When date is there, date is there. Commitment is there. Dedication is there. And that's what I agree with the Ankit saying it. Ankit,
Yeah.
you are having bad score. We had a conversation and the scores improved. Walk me through it and share with other people how the score can be improved.
I think what three things, sometimes when we are giving mocks, we rush, right? Um, and you need to realize what you're doing wrong, right? Nobody else can realize that for you. Three things which I was doing wrong. One was I was trying to manage and take the mocks in a way where whichever environment was convenient. No, you need to have a dedicated environment, very focused environment while you give your mocks. Second is, if you all have not created roadmap, mind maps, please create that. What I did and what worked for me, other than the mind maps that Amir has on his Google Sheets, right, which gives a very good flow of how the process should follow. I chose one candidate from our batch who had the best mind maps, and his name is Saeed Amir Bhai. So what I did was I used his mind maps to refresh the entire process. And thirdly, timing, right? What I was doing was sometimes I was rushing. You need to slow down. You need to slow down. It's you can easily do the paper
Wait,
well.
wait. This he is moving it very fast again with this concept. Now, what happened? It was on last Saturday. On
Yeah.
last Saturday, he shared his score of the mock 180, and I asked him, "What's the problem with you?" Because I know and I'm a very blunt guy. For everyone who is with me, they know that, and for those who don't know, you will further feel that I'm a very blunt guy. I said, "What is the problem with you?" And he is taken back. Now, a person who is living at its own, managing everything, you don't tell him to do that. The mindset is this: I tell. So, "Hey, what's the problem with you?" I said, there is no problem. I said, why the score has come? I said, I don't know. I said, okay, walk me through the pro. And now, here comes the very critical part. He said, I'm doing the first section, this. I listened to him and I said, total, how much time for the mock? 3 hours, 10 minutes. 3 hours, 20. I said, who is running behind you? What's the problem with you? Slow down. The mock needs to be done in 4 or 10 minutes. Okay, with two breaks. He said, okay, how to do it? I said, forget everything. The 60 question, first 60 question, you have to do in 80 minutes. Then 10 minutes, then 75, then 75. But were you able to do that next day?
Yeah.
None,
No.
none, none,
No.
none. He did better. Like instead of 320, he did 340. Again, I yelled at him. I said, I told you, you only have 80 minutes. You need to slow down. Like 3 days. Now, this is something why I'm asking this and why I'm pushing this pressure. This is something we need to develop here. You need to slow down. It's very easy to actually say to slow down. But in reality, it's very difficult. Very difficult. Okay, that we do it. And how difficult it is, just like your groups, I have a facilitator group in which all your facilitators are, I am managing them, I'm coaching them. Okay, Hassan, Anushpa, Said, Awais, all of them. So I sent this message to them. Okay, this Madhu, so probably most will not correlate, but let me give you a some. Okay, so Anushpa actually made a summary of that. People mock minimum time spent 75 minutes. They should not complete before 65, 70 minutes, not earlier than that. 180 mock, 3 or 45 minutes. If early than that, they need to slow down. Okay. Now I am re-communicating it to my facilitators also. right? Slowing down is the number one thing in your exam. Okay. Ankit, would you agree or not?
100%. And I was able to complete my exam in, even still, I would say, with 10 minutes remaining. So you don't need to rush at all. And I think a very simple concept which I like to share with all of you, right? When we are doing these mocks, every time you see similar questions and keywords and you just think, okay, this is the answer. That is what I was doing. I was just selecting and I was like moving on because I was thinking, okay, there's something else. But let me ask you a question. Were you able to swim the first day when you jumped into the pool? I don't think so, right? You jumped into the pool, you started floating, then you learned swimming. In the same way, whatever Amir sir and his team are trying to do is trying to build your muscle at your specific age, right? Which is very important, right? And I think the other aspect of it, what really helped me, which I do want to share, is that one of the other aspects of me was I was getting anxiety. Looking at the screen for constantly 80 minutes, your eyes will get tired, right? You might feel, okay, what am I supposed to do? And Amir sir taught me one thing, is with me throughout my life. And I've started following that to ensure that time management was there. Was after 25 minutes when I was either getting anxiety attacks or I was feeling I was losing focus, I was thinking my mocks are not happening well. I was just closing my eyes, taking 3 deep breaths. It takes you less than a minute. That really helped me. And I even did that in my final exam, right? It calms you down, right? First. Second, you give a little break to your eyes and then you start again. So slowing down is extremely important. Um, if there are any questions from the group, I see some of my fellow batchmates have also joined. I'll be more than happy to help. If you all want to reach out to me separately, I'm more than happy to help. But yeah, my success journey credit goes to surely Trimzi and Amir. And what really worked for me is few tips. One, stay focused, right? Trust in the system. And third, stay motivated. A lot of your fellow mates can do it. Why can't you? Right? I am no expert in this. I might be an extremely good professional, but I was very bad. The way that I look at it, I was very bad at project management. I was getting mock scores of 50, 58, 60. Even towards the end of the mocks, I had Amir Bhai screaming at me, yelling at me. After when you put in, and it is frustrating as an individual when you're putting it 8 hours. Like my wife, she was cooking, and I used to go to the room and I used to give these exams. And I used to come down after 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm seeing my family, and she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "I don't know, yaar. I just got 58." She's saying, "Why is this happening to you?" And then Amir Bhai would call me and he say, "What is wrong with you?" And I have all my concepts cleared, right? So you have all your concepts clear. Everything is well designed. You have your mind maps. From that learning, we are not, we are all adults, right? Why can't you transform that into your mocks? And then I started self realizing, one, I was going fast. Second, I was not seeing the keywords. And third, what also helped me, which I want to share, which I did in the exam, was when Amir Bhai's batch started, the first diagram that he makes was need analysis, business case, business benefit management plan, and then he starts with your initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, control. I just used to, whenever I used to start my exam, I used to draw that, right? And when your questions come, there will be at least 40% of your questions that will come, which will say, you are at your planning stage, you are at your execution stage, right? I used to look at that diagram and then I used to say, okay, I'm at this position right now. From here on, this is the situation. What is it going to be? And then I used to connect those answers. So this is a tip and trick that worked for me. And what I did was I started drawing a lot. I'm a extremely bad sketchist artist, and I used to make the most terrible mind maps. I started sketching, right? Start making your burn up charts, burn down charts, your power interest grids, right? Do it with your own hands without seeing it. See it and then do it. Trust me, it really helps. It really helped me.
Thank you. Thank you. Just putting that, what he just mentioned, slowing down, elimination technique, identifying keywords, And then initiation planning, which process group is. What he is saying actually, what I am saying from day one, use this 7 step formula. Read the question slowly, read the last line if three more than three, identify the keywords, exactly he said, initiation planning, okay, then use elimination technique. How important this last step has been, root cause analysis. How important root cause analysis is that?
Extremely important. I think it helps you start visualizing that when you have a problem, what do you need to do? And the very moment you will start giving your mocks with different types of situations, right? You will start feeling, okay, how do I assess the problem? What is the root cause analysis, right? And then those steps will automatically start coming to you and it will get habitual to you. So it might not be right now, but as you will keep on giving those mocks, you will start understanding through the different situations that the 4 5 principles remain the same, right? One is his seven step formula, right? I spoke about obviously elimination technique is something we all do. I think most of us do, but we skip some of these stages. Right now, I would say all questions you might not need to understand at which stage you are in, but if you develop that thought process, it will become very easy. So I think you just need to do that. And third is, to everything that he said, if there is any problem, right, you will first understand why is that problem happening. Then you will understand how you're going to assess, that problem in length. Then you're going to analyze it. Then you're going to prioritize it. Then you're going to action it or implement it, right? So I think I was not so clear with my concepts when I started his batch, but now I think the whole agile mindset is already stuck up in my brain. Thanks to him, I would say just stay focused, and put in your hard work. I mean, whatever I did was my last 2 weeks, and Amir Bhai knows it. 6 6 hours, 7 7 hours. Don't think of it. Oh, I cannot do it. I have this problem. If somebody like me at a mediocre student can do it, all of y'all can do it.
Okay. What was your time management again? What was the 60/60? How much?
So I did in the first section in 80 minutes, the second section in 75 minutes, and the third section in 75 minutes.
Hmm.
My in my exam, I did my first section in literally 80 minutes,
Hmm.
but my second section I went to 65 minutes because what we noticed was through and this can be different, but what happened with me was the second section had smaller questions, number one, and I was just able to use the elimination technique because there was not even a closest second answer.
Hmm.
But then I started. But I think what I would also give a tip is if you've got time, firstly, follow that time management 80, 75, 75. Second is start getting used to flagging reviews, right? Because this is what I did on the third slot. And the second slot was if I'm not too sure on that, if there are two very similar answers, I will choose what's my best answer, but I'll flag it for the review, right? So at the end, when everything gets over, you've got 4 or 5 questions, you can come back and review those and start thinking about it, right? Rather than you spending more than 3 minutes on a question and then towards the end you start panicking and then you're rushing or your time management goes through. So I think that's an extremely important step. If it's a complex question, go with the best, put it for review flag and move on, right? So that you cover the whole exam well.
How many drag and drop questions were there?
So I had at least 4 to 5 drag and drop questions. What I do want to mention is those drag and drop questions were slightly tough, Amir bhai.
Hmm.
Reason being, there were keywords. It was not like, say, for example, and I'll give you a very classic example. We know daily stand up, right? What do we do in daily stand up? We do what we did yesterday, what we did today, what we're going to be tomorrow, if there are any blockers, right?
Hmm.
But there will be just 2 words there. So you'll have to connect the dots
Hmm.
with those drag and drops.
Let's first put this thing in the context. Make question for PMP marathon and make sure those drag and drop questions are involved in them. Okay, make that thing as a sure thing. Okay. Secondly, very important thing, and I really want that from your side, that make at least 10 to 20 questions PMP marathon, that because PMP marathon, which will be on Saturday, is very critical, and I need you to make at least 20 questions. Make sure those drag and drop questions were there. Okay. Any burn up, burn down chart questions where you have to select on it?
Um, Funnily, there were no burn up chats for me,
Hmm.
but there were two, three questions that came on Kanban,
Okay.
and there were a lot of risk questions.
Hmm.
There were more than, I think, 15 or 17 risk related questions,
Hmm.
but the mix between risk and issue, basically.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. If anyone has any question they want to ask from Ankit, this is the guy from a non-believer, from someone who thinks he could not clear PMP. He's a certified PMP standing today. And just to put in the context, even last week, okay, even the last week, we were thinking to reschedule. Okay. Like I had a call with his facilitator, I had a call with him, and even 3 days before, like just check the link how we work into that, that we said him even at the last time. Okay. Even at the last time that we said him, like we are thinking, we are reevaluating it. And he was on inch, should do, should not do, should do, should not do. I decided to plug the play. I decided I'm gonna push him, and I yelled at him. I told him in the last week, I did not say anything to you in 1.5 months. Before like, this is how I started conversation. Now I'm not gonna hold it. I took his permission. He was not expecting. Then I started yelling. Like, this is what I do. I took permission from him, right? And he said, yes, Amir bhai. He thought I will not say anything. Then every single night, because he's in same time zone as I am, either he called me or I called him. Anji, what is the status? What is the status? Let me tell you one final thing. His exam, let's say his exam, it is Sunday, his exam is on Tuesday. Your exam is
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday.
Wednesday. Come. I told him, come, do mocks, last three mocks on Tuesday. I said, I have to go to office. I started yelling at him. You are not going office. I haven't said you anything. I need three mocks, right? And he must be saying, yeah, what are you doing? Said, no, 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 three mocks. He did those three mocks, and he cleared the exam. I will be hard. I will make sure all of you become PMP. Said Faik is asking, any SV or CV question, Ankit?
No, for me, there were no SVCV question, but from what I've heard from some of the other success stories in the past and some of my fellow mates who took my exam, who with whom I was in touch with, they did receive. So you cannot skip that question. It's a very important thing. Maybe I was just lucky, but I was anyway full prepared for SV and CV questions, and they
But
are very critical
yeah,
as well.
they come, they are not that hard. They are
Yeah,
not that hard.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Ankit. And do share me a good picture of you. And please see, I know you will be busy later on to Saturday, Sunday. If you can make some questions and send it to me for PMP Marathon.
Sure, sure, absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, Amir.